Hi YouTube. So tonight I'm going to do a cooking video for you guys. I'm going to do my version of Taco Bell's Smothered Burritos. So let's get started. Okay, so here is a list of the items you will need to make these smothered burritos. You will need 5-minute instant white rice. You will need McCormick chicken taco seasoning, Taco Bell's refried beans, the vegetarian blend, Las Palmas green chili enchilada sauce, sour cream, Velveeta block cheese, an onion, a pound and a half of chicken strips, and flour tortillas. Okay, so when it comes to cooking the chicken, first I'm going to start off with getting my skillet hot. I'm going to go and turn the heat on about medium high. And then I'm going to take my vegetable oil and I'm going to add about a tablespoon and a half. Now I eyeball this because I've been cooking a lot. You can use a measuring spoon if you like. So now we're going to wait for our oil to heat up. Okay, now that our oil is hot and you can clearly see and hear the popping of the oil, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our chicken. So we're just going to pick it up. I prefer to pick it up with tongs so my hand doesn't get all gross. And we're going to add as many in the skillet that will fit. You might want to turn it down a little bit if it starts popping. And then I add some salt and pepper. But you guys can add anything that you want. And while your chicken is cooking, go ahead and start dicing your onion, which you're going to dice half of that. Okay, when your chicken is almost done cooking, you're going to go ahead and add your onion, which is a white onion. We're just going to go ahead and dump it right on top of the chicken to go ahead and get some nice caramelization on the onions. That's the way that I prefer it, but if you like the raw onion taste, you can go ahead and just leave this stuff out. So we're going to go ahead and finish with the chicken and caramelize our onions, and then we will be back to take the chicken out. Okay, so once your chicken is done cooking, which you've cooked it for about 8 to 10 minutes, or until it's no longer pink in the middle, you're going to go ahead and turn the heat off and let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then you're going to take the skillet over to your cutting board, and we're just going to take the chicken out piece by piece and place it on the cutting board. We will let it sit there for a couple more minutes just to make sure it's good and cool before we try to cut into it so none of the flavor is lost and we're not burning our hands. We'll leave the onion in the skillet because we're going to add the chicken right back to the same skillet, so we'll just leave it. During this time, while your chicken is cooling, you can go ahead and turn on your refried beans. Go ahead and get those heating up. I just dumped them out of the can into the pot, and I have them on a medium-low heat. And then I prepared the rice by the directions on the back of the box. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm doing 2 cups of the rice here. If you have a little bit larger family, you can do the 6 cups. I just did the 2. I seasoned the rice with some salt, cumin, and parsley flakes. That is just seasoned to your liking, pretty much. If you like the taste of cumin, just put as much as you like in there. So we're going to go ahead and let this do its job, and while our chicken is cooling, okay, now that our chicken has had time to cool, we're going to go ahead and start cutting it. You can cube it, shred it, cut it the way that I'm cutting it, any way you like, but this is just the way that I do it. So I take a fork and I take my knife and I put the fork in the chicken just to kind of secure it, hold it in place. I tilt the knife back and I start cutting it down, just like so. And then you just back up when you run out of room. And sometimes it will fall apart That's okay, because you're just going to eat it anyways. Doesn't have to be perfect. And so I'm going to I'm going to cut up the rest of this chicken, and then I will show you guys the next step. Okay, now that we are done cutting up our chicken and we've added it back to the skillet with our onions, we're going to go ahead and turn the heat back on, medium high, and we're going to go ahead and add our seasoning. It says to add half a cup of water to the chicken with the seasoning, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. I've already got the half cup of water sitting out and measured over here, so we're just going to dump the seasoning on top of the chicken, like so. And then we're just going to pour the water on as much of the seasoning as possible so it makes it a little bit easier to stir. And then we're just going to go ahead and start mixing it up to get all of those seasonings incorporated in the chicken. And then once we're done with this, we'll come right back. Okay, now that all of our seasonings are incorporated in the chicken, we're going to let this, we're going to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to let it simmer for 5 to 7 minutes. So as you see, it's already boiling, so we're going to go ahead and turn that down to about a medium low. Our rice is already done, as you can see, and our beans have already heated up, so we're going to go ahead and remove those off of the stove, and I'm going to show you guys my cheese sauce. So what I did was I cubed up the Velveeta cheese, and I added the remaining green enchilada sauce. You can just buy the nacho cheese in the Mexican section in Walmart, but I forgot that, so I made my own. So anyways, I've just cubed it up and I added the remainder of the green sauce, and now we just have it on a medium heat, and we're going to melt it until it's all nice and incorporated together, and then we'll be back to show you what we do next. Okay, now that our cheese is nice and creamy and there's no clumps of cheese in there, we can go ahead and turn that off, which I have done. And while your cheese is melting, go ahead and turn your green sauce on to go ahead and get it warm, and then put your tortillas in the microwave for maybe about 25 seconds. They don't really need to be steaming hot, they just need to be hot. You don't have to cook those or anything like that. So just go ahead and put them on a plate, put them in the microwave for, like I said, about 25 seconds, and then I will be back to show you what you do next. Okay, so once everything has completed cooking, I like to set it up kind of like an assembly line. It just makes preparing the burrito go a lot smoother, and you're not having to run back to the stove and stuff like that. So our tortillas have been heated up in the microwave, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it and lay it down on the plate. I'm going to go ahead and take some of the chicken. It's really to your liking how much you want to use. I mean, if you want it really full, stuff it. If you want just a good size, then that's good. Okay, so I put the chicken down first, and then I'm going to take our melted cheese sauce, and I'm going to put it over the chicken. And I like to add a good bit of this just because I think it adds more flavor to the burrito. You're just going to kind of cover the chicken with it, just like so. And yes, you're going to get messy. So, alright, now that we have the cheese on there, we're going to go ahead and start putting the rice on there. Which for this type of burrito, I think maybe 2 spoonfuls of rice. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put the beans on there, which I'm assuming 2 spoonfuls of beans. Just like so. But it's to your liking either way. Okay, now that the inside of our burrito is complete, go ahead and we'll wrap it up. And no, it's not going to wrap perfectly unless you have the big tortilla shells, but I prefer to make them this size. They're a lot easier to eat. So I pretty much just close it just like that. I come over here to where our green sauce is. I take a about a ladleful. And then I pour it right over the top to smother the burrito. Just like so. And you can add more if you like the green sauce, kind of your liking. And then I go back to the cheese and I just stir it a little bit so we can get that kind of stringy effect like that. And then I'm going to do that on top. It'll take you a couple of tries, and yes, like I said, you will get messy. Just wipe the plate off when you're done. I just like the way the cheese strung across the top looks. Kind of makes it look a little more fancy. Even though this clearly is not a fancy burrito because you will get messy. Okay, now we're going to go back down here to the sour cream. If you don't like sour cream, you can skip this step, but I just like to stir it up just like I did the cheese. Take a spoon and do this little number. And you can add as much as you want if you love sour cream, then pile it on there. If not, go light. But that is how I make my version of Taco Bell smothered burrito.